Milk the cow.
Milk.
Bovine beats and banter for the next 2 hours or so, or whenever we can't be arsed anymore. Thank you very much for tuning in to the Milk the Cow podcast. You listen to the sound of Donald Jenkins. I've also got in the studio none other than Mike Cow.
A slip of a man.
And also Mickey C.
Hello.
And not forgetting a man. Technical whiz kid, Mr. H.
Simple man.
The man without the microphone.
It's all men together.
Men. My regions are stinking.
Men at work.
Liquid testosterone.
Well, I'll pull you out of your little circle jerk and let me introduce the show.
Pulling circle jerk.
We are
the jerk chicken.
Milk the Cow, of course, has been brought to you, the podcast, straight from the recesses of Mashup Wednesday to the here and now in the podcast nearly live production. This is number 3. Hope you've tuned in to previous 2. If you haven't, please go online. We've been very, very kindly. Lots and lots of people have tuned in and downloaded us, streamed the show. I think we've had over nearly 500 hits since we put up on Thursday or Friday of last week. So really appreciate that, but keep on sharing that, keep on getting that around your network, and we can make this into something bigger and better. Thank you very much for all of your comments and everything that you've shared. Just to remind you on that we are coming with a live event in the beginning of October the 14th, happening at Think Tank. That's in conjunction with Fresh Hair, Fresh Hell,
Bear Bunch, Barney Bill, Nosy Beaky McIntitch.
Fresh Hell, Polar Bear Productions. and of course, Ghetto Method Collective is an event that we're putting on with rapper Sage Francis on his world tour, and Edward Scissortongue along with a local set of reprobates. Tickets for that can be found on www.wegottickets.co.uk. Of course, that well-known one-killer rapper. Straight fresh from The Hague.
War crimes to art.
MC Slobodan.
How many words rhyme with Milosevic?
Get off me back, you bitch.
I haven't got one. I'm fucking highly hungover. Continue.
Anyway, on tonight's show, we have a variety of great stuff. We're returning with Desert Island Crisps, which took a little trip off last week, but after you asked for us to bring it back, we have. We're going to have special request.
In the dance.
A special request.
Slow on the buttons there,
Keep up, you cunt.
A variety of subject matters that you've been telling us that you want us to talk about. That's the section of the show which is all about interaction and you telling us what it is. So thank you very much for posting up on the Mike Cow page this week.
Proud Mike Cow.
Also known as
Proud Mommy.
and
God's okay.
And we've got Saviles Corner, the return of everything that's going on in the world of paedophilia. We shouldn't be laughed about at all.
It's a
private matter.
No
like
laughing
marzipan.
No laughing matter.
I've been soul searching about Saviles Corner.
I made a short clip of it. You can share that. We're on your network.
And local and national stuff in the section called What's Gannin on.
We got on this. Oh, fucking hell. It's falling apart already. Hey!
Speedy there.
Speedy off the button.
Speedy Gonzalez. And we have What's Getting on Your Tits, a section of the show which just tells what's really annoying us. We've got sport and football, and of course we've got Know Your Enemy.
Know Your Enemy!
our insightful look into the world of tabloid journalism.
Did you not get that one either? The jingle for that. Fucking Daniel let me down this week.
Hey, already we're seeing a pattern emerging. It was the Charger last week. What's happening this week? You'd think you had a life and a newborn child or something. What's wrong with you? Oh, but he's got that.
He gets that one.
The man without the microphone knows how to swear.
Ooh, how passive aggressive.
Anyway, Mickey C, what have you been up to?
Well, not much really, to be honest.
Just stammering.
I've been at work a lot, so I haven't really been up to much, but there was a bit of a butterfly effect of last week.
Aye.
Yeah, with Dan.
What, did you just keep on repeating with a kebab all week?
Well, it started with, it started with Dan forgetting his thing, me then eating a bab, me then getting 4 hours sleep on the night. Sleep. Then fucking going to work the next day, still ill off the bab, feeling like utter shit, and managing to absolutely ruin one of the machines at work.
Japanese flag.
What, did you have a shit on it? Like?
No, fucking
bum gravy. Bum gravy in the printer.
No,
everything just started printing with excrement and turd, did it? Like,
no, me and me pal at work were cleaning the machine and that we fucked something up anyway. He rang us, he says, "Oh, come down and sort this out." I was like proper ill and that, like half asleep. "Oh yeah, I'll come down." He's like, "Oh," so I ended up having to do something anyway. I had to drain some of the chemicals off and what have you, and I was basically just fiddling with the pipe to, because I got
it's like fucking riveting this.
I got the funnel stuck that drains the chemicals off. I tried to remove it. Managed to snap the whole pipe off.
Snap the key off in the lock, did you?
Next thing you know, 150 litres of chemicals all over the fucking floor.
It was worth waiting for.
When my mate sort of went round the corner and says, "Well, it could have been worse." And he come back literally with me with half a pipe in my hand and just fucking chemicals pissing all over the place.
Chemicals, by Jove, you're right.
him going, "What the fuck you done?" I was like, "No, out of an hour." It was fucking.
Well, it started. I did this podcast last night. I had a kebab,
so that was
and then a butterfly flapped its wings in the West End.
Pretty much, like, so that's all down to Danny H.
So you know.
Well, so Dan forgot something and then mentally controlled you to go and buy a kebab.
Well, it's just
or you just make a personal choice.
It's like one of those, like sliding doors, isn't it? It's like when one thing happens, it has this knock-on effect down through the line. Which results in me having an absolute fucking horror show.
But to be fair, you didn't need him for getting a fucking charge of it. A fucking horror show.
But any sensible person, when given a spare hour and realising they've got a bit of time to go any food, wouldn't go for a Benwell Bab.
I know that's possibly true, and I have actually learnt my lesson.
Well, I personally asked him to go have a run through of the agenda for the podcast, but he was highly unprofessional and went for a kebab.
What whilst you drank fucking twice as many cans?
My mother,
but it was quite weirdly though. When I'd been playing footy the night, and I got out of footy, and I just got in the car, and I had this strange sensation that I wanted another bab tonight. I had to proper slap myself in the face. What are you thinking?
Slappy.
So I must have some sort of bab addiction horror thing going on.
Speaking of babs, I believe that I'm going to bring you in here, Mike. Haven't you had something of that nature?
Fucking hell. Oh, is this me? Like, how am I doing?
What you eat up?
I'm in fucking raggled. Well, I'm going to have to take you back. Saturday, went to the Heat match. I drank me weight in drink. We'll come to the fucking result and everything later. But Sunday was an absolute world of pain, as you can imagine, at my age with the drink. And then, not to be deterred, yesterday, straight on the fucking bus down to Altrincham away. Again, have drank me weight in drink. Woke up with borderline delirium tremens this morning. Not to be deterred, just before...
not to be confused with the DDT, the final move of
Jake the Snake Roberts.
Anyway, moving on.
I thought that was that not Rick the Model Martell's finishing move?
No, you're wrestling me.
That's his specialist subject, that man.
What was Jake the Rick the Model Martell's?
It was, he had that...
was that the 4-figure leg lock?
Yeah, I think it was a big...
No, he had that arrogance thing, man.
And he used arrogance as spray. Like,
can you remember the earthquake?
Yeah, I remember all of them dead.
His special
all of them
move.
Dead.
That's he did, is he?
I think most of them all dead from steroids.
He didn't eat many steroids. I don't think the earthquake. I think he was just eating fucking pies.
Eating pies and roids. It's a bad lethal combination.
It was anyway. So if I could just cut back into the bit which was my bit.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, interrupting cunt. So just before I came to the podcast, not to be deterred, I went to Biker Spoons with all last for Steak Club. and took an extra couple of quid in and got a 14-ounce Aberdeen Angus in the time-honoured podcast tradition. And I'm in an absolute steak coma. I'm done in off a 3-day bender. So for me, it's the perfect chemistry for 2 hours of vitriol and hate.
Don, you do realise for the next podcast you're going to have to eat a fuckload of meat.
Well, I did chance it, Vicky, and I did actually go for a bab, but I went for a bab light at the Spice Master General on the West Road. That's a little bit of advertising there. Spice Master for the lean, mean kebab machine.
If anybody from Spice Master is happening to be listening, we are open to sponsorship.
And bribes.
Yes.
Or just free food before the show.
As long as it hasn't got any gluten in.
Okay.
Or meat.
Or well...
Danny, Mr. H, what have you been up to then? Yes, that sideline as a mute and as a mime working on Northumberland Street. How's that working out for you? Yeah, good money? Good earner? All right, okay, good. What have I been up to?
No, let's... Right, we fucked the swear box off last week. But I'm telling you now,
it's got to be a burp
I'll
box.
box you
What?
if you keep burping in my ear. Since we brought these headphones in, right? All I hear, well, last week it's like we've been doing it for years. But
That's like your catchphrase.
I've been locked in here like fucking Joseph Fritzl's basement forever. But all I fucking hear in these headphones is you just burping your head off.
Look,
fuck off.
Look at him, he's like the Bob Stasi.
Checking the wrong side. Do you like burps in your head?
Sorry.
You like burping in your head?
I'm just a burpy guy.
Burp relation.
He's a burpy fellow.
I just don't like it.
I don't care.
I wasn't joking before. I've been on a 3-day bender, and I'm very fragile. Like before I came the day, I had like a proper like, oh my god, the last thing I'd be arsed with is listening to these two fucking dickheads.
I'm
not even joking.
I have to say, like literally minutes before the show, I did think that it was going to be a very slow start and that you were going to have little or nothing to contribute, you know. But the power of the two can touch, didn't it?
I am actually on my second can. If anybody from Heineken is listening, we are open to sponsorship opportunities.
Anyway, what have I been up to? I've been away in the land of Scotland, and just a little bit of a backstory, you know, that explain myself. A lot of people out listening. Myself. That's all I live for. Myself. I'm so egotistical. I have to mention it twice. There are people out there who know me, and those who don't, who grew up in the North East and went and were involved in the North East rave scene may well know of a record shop called Bass Generator Records.
Bass Generator.
Which was sponsored for Judgment Day, and it contributed towards the resurrection parties, and as well as being a DJ himself. And I spent much of my misspent youth there listening to records and blah 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 blah. But anyway, that's a little back.
Bass Generator.
Anyway, yes, it was.
With his friend Alec Technotrans.
That's the fellow. And that kind of sort of weird moment of looking at each other kind of sweaty whilst you were at a rave, and saw him about 2 years ago with my son and his son whilst we were like buying clothes on the third floor of Phoenix shop, and they were both with toys, kids' toys in one hand, both with kids or whatever, looking at each other and going, how times have changed. Anyway, I was up in Scotland. We went to Loch Lomond and we did a bit of wild camping there and camping out in the night, and there was just a bunch of people who were out on the beach or whatever. We weren't sure where we'd be able to wild camp, and I came down and they said,
anywhere in Scotland. I've just cut in. I'm a mountain leader. You can like wild camp anywhere as long as you leave no trace.
But the bylaw round there in that particular area is that you're allowed to camp on the beach, but they prefer you not to go out on the grass.
That's mainly boxing.
Anyway, they were down there, so they set the lead for us to kind of like camp down there ourselves, and we set a fire, they set a fire, and later on I was walking past, and one of them was just, a bunch of people sat there and they say, they also going, man. I was having a conversation with them,
come on, right,
and chatting away at them and stuff like that. And I was asking them where they were from, and they said Stirling, and started talking to them, and I explained that I knew places in Stirling, we've got friends and stuff from there. And then one of them just turns around and goes, "Hey Paul, you sound like you're from Bass Generator Records." And then straight away I was like, "Oh yeah, I used to go out. I used to go to Resurrection." "Oh, Resurrection, man. Aye, so did we. So I got Bass Generator. And also they knew like people like Triple X, MC Triple X as well.
Triple X to see.
Arguably the finest of the MCs.
Yeah, MCs from the North East. Do you remember? Was it Sneaky Eye as well?
I do.
Yeah.
Very nice lad as well.
Yeah, really top lad, isn't he?
I don't know Sneaker. I can just remember he's
iconic,
better than that,
iconic of the era.
He was. He
was a
also
poor
contributes
imitation.
onto the Milk the Cow thread as well. You know, he's a top guy, and really appreciate all the things that he has to say.
Yes,
Contribute to that. Anyway, that's all been up to you. So moving on, we have what's going on.
Fucking.
That doesn't matter.
No, Mickey C.
A little bit of a side joke there. Just talk amongst yourselves.
Mickey C did say to us that he was going to sing today's jingle of what's going on. So, and now we've got what's going on.
Oh, fuck off.
They're the lyrics, like.
No.
Dan, this time you don't play that bit, and then what I'm going to say is going to point to
Hey, do it again, aye.
And now, as if I hadn't said it earlier on, the part of the show, what's called What's Gannin on.
And I said, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah. What's going on?
What's getting her?
Lovely. So, starting off events-wise, Mike Cow, tell us what events so we know what we're about. What's going on in the area?
Hey, hold on 2 seconds. You've caught us a little bit on the hop, yeah? I did it quite later on the show last time. Changing it up. One of the main things is big up to the man like English Nick, one of the finest photographers out there. Kindly, very, very kindly indeed, he's added to the Gaza appeal. As some of you know, I'm away next week on the 500 miles trek. If you go on to njw-images.co.uk/fundraising, there you will find 2 framed photographs, kindly donated by Nick himself, where you can put closed bid bids for these. Whoever, honestly, I swear to fucking Christ, I'm not even joking. Like,
I'm
not even joking. I've still got a Stanley knife in my pocket off the weekend shenanigans. I'm going to fucking stripe you, cunt.
There's 2 mic stands and 3 pop shields in between me and you.
I just like to say I'm not actually a football hooligan. I just, Anyway, moving on. Yes, so back to the children of Gaza before that fucking cunt started burping again. njw-images.co.uk/fundraising. 2 images that he's had framed up nicely, which you can put closed bids in. The people who contribute the most will then go into my Just Giving page and add to the overall total for the good people of Gaza who need our help.
What are the images?
Well, that'd be telling. They need to go on his website. If they go on his website, and then they can have a look, you know what I mean?
Alright.
You know what I mean? Fucking hell, man.
Fucking,
it's my bit. I've been a 3-day bender, I'll fucking kill you.
You really...
Anyway, Washington Heritage Festival 2014. You burped during this, and it's just fucking Mike stand up your
I've got no left.
Class. Thanks to Ken Richardson for this one. Join us for a fantastic, not us, but the people of the Washington Heritage Festival. Join us for a fantastic free day of family fun that will be compared by Northeast favourite Steve Walls. Steve Walls, anybody?
No.
Me neither. No disrespect. No disrespect, Steve. I'm just don't know who we are. The day will include a miners' banner parade. Very keen on that kind of thing. It's our heritage. That will step off from Washington Gardeners Social Club and pause at the Miners' Memorial Statue, where the Miners' Anthem Gresford, one of my personal favourites, will be played. The parade's arrival at the F-Pit Museum in Albany Park will help mark the beginning of the festival. Also a display of classic cars and vintage buses, marquees containing a variety of exhibitions, commemoration of World War I and its relevance to Washington, entertainment marquee, also Punch of Jury and Bird of Prey performances. That'll not be the first time a bird in Washington's attacked somebody, but never mind. Moving swiftly on, Elephant presents Task Force, the UK hip-hop legends. Thanks for putting it on the 12th of September when it will be up a Spanish mountain, you cunts. One of my favourites, haven't seen it for well over 10 years. Also with the man like Pegs, one of our friends, and ZQMC, Canny Lad. Congratulations on the band, son.
Congratulations. I've got the Screen Age Kicks, which was something that we mentioned in the first podcast.
Lovely people as well.
Collective people who have also started their own podcast, of which I'm going to hopefully be featuring on in the next month or so, which is a kind of film page.
Aye, fuck off.
We're actually doing a guest swap. One of them's coming on here as well, and that's when you get kicked out.
Anyway, these are the people who've been organising films in unusual buildings around the city in Newcastle, and this is going to be showing Blade Runner, which is at the Pop-Up Centre, which is happening inside the Discovery Museum. So check that out. That's happening at 7:30. That's happening on Friday, this Friday.
Is it free?
Doesn't mention.
Is this a fucking quiz? Just leave the lad alone. You know what I mean?
Well, it's just
let him have an air of professionalism.
I don't think.
I don't know. It's just things in the Discovery Museum are usually free, aren't they?
Well, it didn't tell me the Discovery Museum.
No, I think
there
is some kind of link for buying tickets, whether or not they're free. I don't know, but that's Screenage Kicks that's happening on. We also like to mention something that's happening online. One of those things that you think about whether or not it's actually worth doing or not, but. One of those things you see on Facebook when people try and ask you to do something virtually rather than it being an actual place to go to, and that's Move to Gaza, which is a call out for everybody online to change their address to Gaza at the same time.
On
Saturday.
What do you mean?
You're invited to participate in a global virtual non-violent act of human empathy for the people of Gaza. Send the message that the world is watching. Move to Gaza on Facebook.
I'm not moving to Gaza. I'm not moving to Gaza, Don.
I'm quite happy with Kunta Switzerland and
your participation in the event does not cite that you condone any act of aggression. Change your hometown on Facebook to Gaza as a symbolic act.
No, I understand. I was thinking, how do I move to Gaza on Facebook? Right, fair enough. I've had a drink.
I suppose a way of kind of stirring up a bit on that.
Stupid.
Well, mate, I'll do it.
But
fucking why not?
Final thing in Newcastle is pretty long-standing Gabba night. Distorted is running their summer special, which is a kind of cheap gig. That's happening.
What I said before.
I'd say now they just wanted ad lib.
On Saturday,
they're genuinely nice lads. Now get back in your cage.
Oh, you said before.
Saturday. That's happening Saturday.
I just like to make it very clear he's ad-libbing on a podcast. Sorry, Don, just shut up a minute.
Saturday, August the 30th at 10 o'clock. That's happening at the Globe nightclub on Railway Street. It's £5 on the door.
£5. It is a really cracking night as well if you like the harder music.
And it does feature friends of ours, Smurf and UBP.
UBP.
Okie dokie.
The most famous DJ ever to come from Newcastle. I've got a few more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Rhythm Factory in Crook, Durham. It's a new night started by Johnny Patton. It's with Sanctuary Newcastle, Paul Jr., quality house music. I believe they've just come back from residency in Ibiza. Thursday the 4th of September, a night of proper underground ass music in it. Also, Roller Derby, getting quite big in the northeast. Walker, probably at the Lightfoot Centre. I was a bit fucking hungover, so I will post a link to that. But at Lightfoot Centre, I would imagine. It's the European Championships. And the final one, more friends of ours. We bought everybody in the northeast scene. Lively Up presents Good Looking Chain and Fat World at World Headquarters, 9th of September. Just on Lively Up, really nice bunch of young lads doing some really good things. Get along, support them, just because they're canny lads, really, and some of the best nights on in the tune. Bye bye.
Wait.
What also advertising Weetabix and shit.
That side of the podcast is brought to you by Weetabix and hate.
Weetabix actually kind of reminds us of a story that links the three of us before and around somebody who will remain nameless. But the very first time that I kind of sort of well, not the first time, but the first time I ever went over to Mike Cow's house at the tender age of 16 was when,
he was young.
He was young, wasn't he, Mike?
A week-long party.
We taught him,
and he
with his bum,
and he sent over one of his mates to meet me and another friend of mine from the coast to meet us at a bus station somewhere in Gateshead, we'll say, and a friend of ours who was
triangulation already on the podcast for the lizard,
built like a brick shit house, and he came down and was like, "Arena, you done?" And I was like, yeah. So anyway, we walked down the street and he was obviously kind of
I sent my most intimidating friend to meet them.
Well away with the mixer. And I remember him showed us, have you seen me tattoo? And it was a picture of one of the Weetabix men on his shoulder. And I goes, it's Caddy that. He goes, a lot of people say, like, I like Newcastle, because as you remember on the advert, they all like had like football shirts on.
Okay.
He goes, no, I don't like Newcastle. I just fucking love Weetabix.
Even better. I hope you listen to this. We won't mention your name, not because we don't want to.
Like,
just it's an anonymous podcast. We're not giving away fucking any lizard triangulation.
I just love Weetabix, man.
No,
anyway, moving on to some music here, I'd like to get on this week's old school gem, which comes courtesy of Mike.
Get off my airwaves. This is for me. I'd just like to say it, right. If you really, I'm about to play something, and it is dripping and stilting, wrapped in a cloak of Edam. Just get off me airtime. It's all about my old school jam.
It's all about the cheddar.
All about the cheddar now. But if you don't like this tune, then I'm sorry, we just can't be friends, because I was listening to this again the other night.
Me and Yaffa knew it then.
Wait, you used to fucking love it?
Did I?
You fucking used to love it.
I can't remember it.
This is what I'm talking about, and one of the reasons I have put it on here. What I have here is people disavowing their... no, don't jump in. Don't give us that. I'm about to jump in on the mic. What we have here is somebody who is a member of the Geordie Gabba Mafia, who's desperate not to remember the time when he had the lizard slippers. He used to jump around to the happy hardcore, this tune in particular, and also Mickey C, who used to fucking stand there with his hands in the air. This tune was produced by people who had put it out with frequencies that can only be heard by cowies that cost £20. So without further ado, I'd like to play what can only be described as one of the cheddariest fucking old school late 90s happy hardcore anthems. I personally still fucking love it, and if you don't, suck us off. Force and Styles, Heart of Gold.
Just can't justify your love. It has to see you walk away, and I'd like to ask you back to stay, to hold you in my arms just one more time. Another day has passed me by. I've shattered dreams, a distant cry, and a feeling that I lost my world to you. For 1,000 years here I could stand your precious stone held in my hand, but I just can't justify your love.
Hello, welcome back. It's quite funny actually because as I was searching through the Profanosaurus to finish the show on later on for something good, I actually happened across Whiff of Lavender, which sort of sums up that fucking piece of shit song you just played.
You fucking cunt. After that fucking shoegazing shite we allowed you in 8 minutes last week. Man, go and fuck yourself.
That is fucking bad.
Well, there's a lifelong 30-odd-year-old friendship broken.
I like the fact that it just kind of reminds us of the Smoke parting and like a sort of real kind of sort of neon dance floor with like you could eventually see the strobe lights behind it on a Helter Skelter dance floor, and being there down in Milton Keynes, I think it was 96 into 97, white gloves and the smell of Vicks and poppers in the air, and it really rounds us off. There was I noticed that Mike had posted up about when was the last time that you saw atmosphere like this, and it was from 92 Luminaire, probably from a better area to be fair in terms of music, but
definitely a better era, back end of the 90s.
But the back end of the 90s, it was a very short period of time where basically the tartan techno and sort of bouncy techno scene, which was kind of like really synonymous with the northeast old school scene of the 90s, was kind of dwindling. It was on its demise, and from down south came a sound that had been popular for a while, happy hardcore, which initially started off as kind of breakbeat piano music, eventually went forward to the floor, and some of these characters like at the time like Slipmatt and also Force and Styles became sort of overnight sort of superstars, as didn't they?
Slipmatt already was.
Suddenly available, CDs became commercialised and available in the shops in Woolworths and stuff like that. So it was kind of like great in one level, but it was also the beginning of the end.
That song basically signifies the end for me.
The end of hardcore.
The end of me going to.
Well, it was the end of the whole breakbeat stuff, because just before this, it was like Ramos Supreme, the Sunset Regime, and it was that like sort of like it was when drum and bass split. You had like Roughage Crew, Terminator, went dark. The Goldie side of things, Rage down in London.
That was about 3 years before.
But what I'm saying is the happier side of that was Ramos Supreme, Sunset Regime, Life Force Generator. For me, those are the two tunes where it went dark, like, and then the happy hardcore side went Fought the Floor, and the dark side, that was like arguably the birth of drum and bass.
To the dark side.
Yes,
you remember that one?
I do. I like that
one. That's DJ Demand.
But the reason I played that is like, I mean, really for me,
cunt?
Well, I am now again. I like music which I consider to be good, and the top and bottom of it is like there was a good period of like about 15 years where I totally disavowed all of this shit, but there was that year like where they were putting like Force and Styles on it, like Judgment Day and all that, where that offer fucking biscuits on fucking decent cowies that like would listen to fucking anything, and this was one of those, let's listen to anything. And at the time we've had some fucking great nights, and I listened to it again, it was probably about 18 months ago, and the hairs went up on the back of my neck, and I thought, that's just muscle memory from fucking dancing my fucking I'll need, full of some of the best fucking Persians you'll ever find in your life.
I just think there's a feeling there that goes with what we were talking about before about like who you were and what you listen to, and I think sometimes the music forms that we listen to when in our kind of like identity forming period of our life, you know, in our teens and stuff like that, in the period that comes after it in your 20s, you kind of look back to it and cringe at kind of what you were into and what you listened to, and you're like, oh no, I like this now, that, you know, I'm into this, because you're still going out, you're still clubbing, you're still into stuff, and you think what you listen to then is far superior to what you went before, and it's not until you get into your 30s and you kind of look back on that period of time and realise that both are equally as valid, both are as important. And some of those initial cheesy tunes that, you know, meant so much to you and you once turned your back on them, actually now you love them for what they were. You know, there's so many people who love like 80s pop music, you know, they look back on it and 70s stuff or whatever as they get older stuff. And it's stuff it's about kind of going back to what you grew up on,
going back to your roots.
And I mean, I love all of them genres, all of those stuff, and that for me the idea is be open-minded, like it. It's nice to like cheese, it's nice to like experimental music. There's a bit of fucking good in everything. I don't believe there's a subgenre of music out there that there isn't at least one decent record in, with the exception of possibly electro swing, but I'm not going to.
And that's the crack. It's about 2 seconds. It's the key for me is it's just about like if it's good. Don't like it because you're supposed to fucking like it. Like it because it makes you feel a certain way. It could be happy, it could be sad, it could like fit your mood. Whatever it happens to be, that tune still puts hairs on the back of my neck, and I love it for that. And if you don't like it, fine, because you probably didn't have that time, we did. And I've rediscovered it, and I feel blessed as a result of that. So fucking big up for.
I mean, to be fair, I don't get us wrong. There's plenty of cheesy songs out there. What I like,
and
you're walking still. So the fact that you fucking started getting me grief for that one tune,
but like I feel like I literally feel nothing when I hear that. I feel nothing. just like.
To be fair though, you'd already start to fall off when that started coming in, because that was like what, 90s, late 96, 97 time, and you were like sort of 93 to just before then.
Just probably literally, it wasn't about that time that sort of shit just sort of signifies the end of me.
And I
having
completely agree. That was like a mark in the sand where everything had split. Whereas at one time, certainly the early 90s, late 80s, which it was just all one the same thing, and it was all like, the policy was, if it's good and it gets you moving, that's what you play. Whereas it all changed, all subgenres, niches, whereas now it's like, holy fuck, what the fuck?
People fall out on different points of a sound, you know, and it's nothing new. People were doing it in the Northern Soul scene when kind of newer sounds of disco kind of came around, and
Indeed.
people likewise do it in the 90s. I know some people who, when they say they go to an old school night, they will turn their back on if anybody starts playing a tune from 93 or onwards.
Yeah,
you know, and I think that's because at that time that signified music getting a lot faster, and as such becoming a lot faster, a lot noisier, and potentially even, let's say, experimental or too experimental for them. And the sound before them, 88 and 92, was very much more like kind of unity and nothing else. By the time that Weez were going out, it was also kind of Weez keys of these. It was changing. It was changing up. And I'm sure my solidarity with the people of Sunderland.
To be fair, it's not like that was the last rave song I liked before that. There's stuff I've liked after that. It was just like that sort of signified the end of me going out.
You're dead right.
You know what I mean?
And to me, that's not an old school tune.
The songs I can hear
like
that
an old school tune
like,
is exactly what Don's just described, so I don't think I need to describe it again, because I just co-sign what Don's just said. Like, I've put it in the old school gems section because, like, we could sit here and we could play the most achingly cool fucking breakbeat led stuff, because now we know about that shit, like, it's in our cultural heritage. However, I chose it for a fucking reason. I chose it for the reasons I've already described, because that's just how I gone.
I suggest you never get another old school gem.
I suggest you fuck off. It's about rotation. It's
as
like
I like to say, what's old school to them, what old school to me, what's old school to them is different, because I was dishing out shapes when they were still bands, you know.
Shame, were you?
And
I was dishing out shame with the young'uns.
I think it's fine. I'm the most old school of anybody in this room, so just get back in your cages.
And I think, you know, depending on where you grew up, at what time in the 90s you were around, whatever, you will signify what you'll have. What you call old school will be completely different, you know.
I'm old school than your father.
And
I'm more old school than your school.
The final thing I wanted to say on this thing was, we've often, like, I think one of the kind of criticisms that before someone had even listened to the first podcast will be, that'll be a lot of old men basically talking about how things aren't good as they used to.
It is.
Things as good as they used to be, and I never want to think that, because I think there is still some great music that comes out now as well. And I just want to, we just romanticise.
But though, it's like, you say that, but the 90s was a special time. It's like, you know, you look back to the 60s and think, I wish I was there then. And like, there is special times in history, like musically, recent history, sort of the 60s. You look back, like the whole Woodstock thing, all that sort of music. Even I often think, like, you know, like 50s. Now, like when Elvis first come out and Buddy Holly and that, like, if you think about it, nobody had ever heard anything like that before.
And
to be alive at that point where you were like, fucking hell, you heard this.
That
would be like a magical thing. And that's to say, I think the 90s falls into that bracket, like the rave scene. We are dead lucky to actually sort of fall into that bracket of like growing up. Totally. Just growing up in that era and like listening to all it. It was just totally new and like
so good.
I mean, I can remember fucking listening to like I think I was in probably a second year comp or something. Fucking KLF come out, and I was like,
and that was in the charts. It was
fuck is
music,
this? You know what I mean? It was like, this is. I wanted to like get a time machine and go back in time and then make that song. You know, that's how like I was like so fucking.
They're justified and they're ancient,
and they drive an ice cream van.
Let's roll it from the top.
I think though there's. I don't want to.
You know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean. I lived it with you. We lived it together.
I don't want to alienate any of our like listeners who are in their 20s who are growing later than that. No, not fuck them, you know. Cause because if they did, then
It's only joking.
Controversy.
because then if you did, then you would need to feature in Saviles Corner.
Nah, only kidding.
Anyway, I just think it's a part of our upbringing, and it's important to us. And I'm sure in the same way as that, lots of the music that you listen to now will be
Totally,
character forming to you as well. And maybe you look back at that and also see how important this era was, and maybe we don't see it in that way because we're looking at it from a kind of subjective kind of way.
You see some like gigs in that now. And if I was younger, like, mint, you know what I mean? If you have a look at
Production
YouTube,
values on them are a lot better.
The sound quality and that.
Totally,
I I went for a run the other night, and I just had like a best of Prodigy thing on just to go for. Do you ever go out running, don't you?
I do, aye.
And do you listen to music when you run?
No, I don't. I'm a purist, like.
Yeah, right. Well, I find that like it sort of I've been looking for like different sort of things to listen to that sort of perk you up, you know, because sometimes it's a fucking troll, innit? You know, you're like, fucking, I can't be arsed with this. Anyway, I put Best of the Prodigy on, and that fucking song Omen. You heard Omen?
Of course have I.
You're distracting us with your fucking shit.
Anyway,
So basically, I was going for a run, and the Omen came on, and there's a Prodigy playlist thing on my phone, and I tell you what, like, that's like fucking steroids, that song. Like, if you're fucking running, it's just like fucking hell. I just took off, I felt fucked because I'd had a bit of a weekend, and I thought, I'll just go for a little run just to fucking try and sort of work it off. Honestly, that song came on, I was like,
well, I cut you a bit loose with the whole purism thing, but like when I trained to a certain way on the bike, I put 130 beats per minute house music on, like sped a little bit, because it's called cadence training. We're going into the realms of training here now. Just talk amongst your fucking selves. Me and Mick having a banter about training, but it's cadence is about like your pedal strokes and like how you do it, and it's perfect for knocking it out. And you go into a bit of a trance.
Yeah, you do.
And it's like you can knock out a hell of a lot more. And the stuff that comes back off my bike computer is infinitely better than when I do it like in a pure sense without the music. So something to just take on board there for all of you athletes out there.
But it is just like it's like I like to experiment with like different. I'll try different songs, just different playlists, just to fucking run to, just to see if it. And it somewhat certain ones do have an effect where like it just boosts you. It is like steroids. It's to do with
130 BPM because it's sort of around the same sort of speed as your heart, and that's like the perfect sort of tempo for music. So that's why, you know, people go to the gym, they go on the running machine, or they go running itself, whatever. You put that on and it's just kind of pumping you whatever, you know. So I know, I mean, I listen to kind of like techno and stuff like that at that speed, and if you listen to something a bit too fast, it kind of actually kind of like slightly makes you slightly anxious. Although I love fucking fast music, it's not necessarily the right music for doing kind of sport. About 130.
It's the right music for being absolutely rammed to the gunnels with loads of hardcore Berwick and fucking hell.
Berwick on tweet.
Berwick on tweet speed. Yes.
So, let's move on.
Let's not.
What's anyway?
Stop fucking putting them off. Oh well,
he's put me off before.
See what's getting on your tits.
Oh, what's getting on my tits? I've got like two what's getting on my titses for this week. Tits is a word.
All right, are you going to give us a jingle or what?
No.
Squad's
I've got any jingles. Tits. I'll tell you what's getting right on my tits. On a mild one. Oh, that fucking advert that keeps coming on Google, you know, when you play the song. I was just not Google, so YouTube.
I've got an ad blocker. Anybody out there who wants to not have ads, Firefox Ad Blocker Plus.
I've got that on me, but you can't get it on your iPhone, can you?
No, you do get fucked over. 5 seconds. I just tend to switch it off, you know.
Google, tell me what a rockhopper penguin is. Every fucking song. That advert. You heard that one?
Well, obviously I haven't, because I've
have you not heard it? Oh, honestly, it's fucking doing me head in. It's just that's the mild one anyway. The major thing that's been fucking pissing us off this week is just religion.
What, organised religion? Which particular ones? Or?
Well, all of them really fall into the category, like, but I think it's sort of like to do with the whole fucking. I know this person who's basically been sort of ousted from a family for having a child, you know, with like someone who wasn't from her religion. You know what I mean?
Which religion?
Well, they were Muslim the Muslim religion.
You were a bit perturbed about saying Muslim. That's not right.
I know it's like totally natural.
Because if it was Christian,
you would just be like straight out.
And like, I mean, quite obviously, I mean, we're not sort of against fucking people because of like their religion or their ethnicity and all of that shit. However, I think I was saying that last week or maybe the week before, I don't know, to Haze of Drink, about how anybody who can't self-deprecate, or any group of people or individuals within it, then my spidey sense starts going off. And for me, that applies to anybody whatsoever. However, we do have friends online and otherwise who are Muslim, and they do take the piss out themselves. But that's not where you're coming from. That's not the place you're coming from within it, or is it? The place you're coming from within that.
You tell me the place.
Tell me when, Lord. Tell me when. I'm stopping you in fucking cults here. Do you want to join? Do you want to join me? Do you want to come?
Thought I was already in,
right? No, but where I assume you come from, far be it from me to speak for you, but I will anyway. Where you come from with that is that there seems to be the prevalent thing about Islamophobia, and it's like really big out there, and we don't want to align ourselves with like cunts like the ADL.
Well, I don't know. Well, this is the way I see it, you see, because like you've got like the ADL on one side, and you've got like probably Muslims, immigrants or whatever on the other side, and I find that the truth is somewhere in the middle, you know what I mean?
Oh, it's like, it generally always is.
It generally always is, you know, and like I think, you know, I don't think the ADL don't have a point in the sense that I think, you know, I would like to think, and I would like this country to be a tolerant country for everybody. But if you're then letting people into the country who are intolerant of you, in the sense that, you know, they've got their own sort of religion, culture, and they're quite extreme about, not all of them, but there is a cultural thing there whereby if they wouldn't want me to marry one of their daughters. You know what I mean? Like, I think that that's wrong, you know? And I think that, like, this is part of the whole fucking problem. If someone comes into your... like, if people want to come to this country, fair enough, but you've got to integrate into our culture. And that doesn't mean you've got to believe what I believe. I don't give a fuck what you believe. You can believe what you want. But you don't come over here and then start fucking laying the smack down in terms of, right, well, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, we want it this way, we want it that way, you know what I mean? And I think that's where part of the problem comes from. And you've got this sort of
leftist... crux of the matter, really,
you've got
isn't
this
it?
Sort of leftist thing where it's sort of like, oh, the ADL, the idiots, to this, to that, and the other. And it's not like the total...
Not all of them are. I mean, I know people who were on the ADL march in the Toon, and I consider them friends.
Yeah.
They're on that fucking bombshell. There you fucking can. I don't disavow people just because they choose to do a certain thing. Do you know what I would choose to align myself with? But that's not the fucking point. That's not the point of what you're saying.
But it's the same as like... even like the sort of... like the Jewish community in Bentham, you know? They're very
orthodox.
They're very
Jewish,
insular, you know what I mean? They don't integrate. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't know any Jewish people from Bentham, you know, and I live right near the place, you know. I've worked all around that area. I've worked in various areas, and they do not integrate with, you know what I mean? And that sort of causes a friction with people who, you know, I mean, I couldn't give a fuck. Personally, you know what I mean? Do
you think there's a do you think there's a sort of thing within that where they've been oppressed for like years and decades and all that, and they've like sort of like circled the wagons sort of thing, where they've come here and there's a lot of fucking daft cunts in Bentham, let's have it right. Well, I mean, there's a mate of mine, he did work within that community as a community worker. Lovely people. I went on community events and met some of the rabbis and this, that and the other. But there is a thing within that community that you can't wear certain things. You can't, like, women can't, they have to wear things from the neck down, like, can't display their ankles, I believe, etc., etc.
It's very. I find it very sort of backward in terms of like how they view the world. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like for me, it's like you're welcome to believe anything you want. But like if you read like the sort of, I mean, the Jewish people sort of, they feel like they're the chosen people, don't they? That's like their fucking doctrine. They're God's chosen people. So that's instantly racist. You know what I mean? That is an instantly racist fucking viewpoint on life.
There's a thing within it where it's the goyim. And I mean, please correct us if I'm wrong, but as I understand it, the goyim is anybody non-Jewish. And for me personally, like I'm a person who believes in love, and I believe in the human race, and I believe in our capacity to all work together. But for me, don't call me a fucking goyim.
Ah, yeah,
do you know what I mean?
exactly,
It's like, come on, now I'm not going to call you like fucking all the derogatory things we could say about Jewish people, which wouldn't serve this conversation for us to bring them out. But I'm not having that, like, you know what I mean? So it has to be about give and take, surely.
Yeah, go on, Don.
Yeah, I'd like to kind of chip in here a couple of things.
Would you, Don? I don't think this conversation was for you. Like, I thought you were saving yourself with a footy banter.
Oh man, we're just reenacting the Rivers of Blood speech. What's the matter with you?
I think, well, there's two separate things, because I think you're kind of talking about two specific religions, although there are obviously some very parallels about it. Just quickly, because you're talking about Judaism is at this moment in time, just kind of one thing it is to, like, in terms of like practicing your faith, like say within Christianity, I used to be a Christian, was born a Christian, I'm an atheist now, I don't believe in God.
You godless heathen.
But like, you know what,
Get out of your own house.
I've just listened to you without you fucking cussing me. Handbags out, right?
Handbags at dawn.
And the first thing is that basically, you know, like for you to be a Christian, in order to kind of practice your faith, you know, is to kind of, you know, put out love and you know, kind of also to attend church on a Sunday, and then the way and you know, you go and have, you know, in some cases within Catholicism you have communion and those things. Okay, but within
institutional paedophilia.
Go on, sorry, Don.
Sorry,
go
mate.
within like the way of practicing faith within Judaism is to give to the community, okay, and like, and is to put back into your community.
So can I just define which community? The Jewish community or the whole community?
Okay, well, for them it is a sense of creating a community. So yeah, it is the Jewish community. It's the community that they go into with the people around themselves, whatever, and create a kind of community. Now, you get some unorthodox communities, but by and large, people who then define themselves as having a community will primarily be orthodox, because they'll kind of obviously kind of involve themselves with other people who kind of see the religion of the religion of Judaism is something that they want to link with other Jews, and that's why when you go to Bensham, you basically see businesses which are run specifically for Jews, schools which are run for Jews, whatever, because as their way of proving their Judaism and their belief in their faith is to basically create a community and serve the people who all belong to that particular faith and that belief system. So that's kind of what they're, I mean, I'm not saying I agree with that, but I'm just saying, just so you understand, that's what they're doing by expressing themselves in that kind of way. And likewise, within any kind of religion, be it that or Islam, there is always going to be bigotry. There is always going to be something, and it also happens in Christianity. And we don't live in America where we see day in day out, you know, kind of people who decide on how someone will have sex as to what sexuality they can have, whether or not they can only marry or have sex, inside or outside of wedlock. So I think, let's finish. Listen to you whilst you were talking over. So all of these things are to do with our prejudices, and whilst I agree with you, and I think, yes, there are lots of flaws within Islam, and I think that there are, I think the problem is that since post 9/11, it's very hard to have a kind of concrete discussion, because there is an issue about the media is often always trying to kind of frame it in a very black and white way, which is usually based towards the bias that Muslim equals terrorist.
That's
Chomsky's linguistic stuff. And it's about like labelling and it's about like sort of like demonising a group of people. None of us in this fucking room buy that shit. We're having an open fucking conversation about these topics.
Of course, and I think what should be done now, rather than us kind of questioning that, I think what we need to be doing is we need to be encouraging people who are Muslim and people who are Jewish people within Britain to talk openly about their own feelings and their concerns about things within their own religion that don't meet up, you know. And there are people out there, I've forgotten the guy's first name, is Hussein is the surname. He written a book called The Islamist, and like he basically talks openly. I know that he often comments inside the Guardian about his own reservations of Islam, and I think that's a much more concrete conversation, because the only way that things that we have, you know, maybe like wearing the veil or kind of attitudes to women, the stuff that tends to kind of be brought up about Muslims, whatever, I think they're the things that really need to come from within that faith, that kind of like that are going to challenge kind of some of the things that we may not necessarily agree with. As for integration, I don't think that we do enough to allow people to integrate in this country, and I think we live in a polarised country, and I don't necessarily think that that's enough to do with us, but to do with the kind of way that the country is kind of governed and managed and stuff like that.
I think out of most countries out there, I think our country is quite sort of
course,
liberal and inviting to people, and quite sort of trying to integrate people in. I'm not saying it's perfect. Of course it's not. You've got nutters. You've got people who've got extreme views. You've got
people
idiots
on the other side who want to polarise it for their own fucking ends.
Of course you have. But if you look at countries out there, we're fairly inclusive. You know what I mean?
I agree,
and
relatively, for sure.
I mean, this country is not perfect by fucking any stretch of the imagination. Not at all. But I think, like, if you're striving to live in a future, then...
Well, I am, and you are, and so is he,
well,
and he
exactly.
is too, so
then
that's what this is about, really.
You've fucking got to have, like, an integration... like where people are integrating it, and that comes from everybody. And if you're not going to fucking do it, I mean, we've got enough people already here who don't want to integrate, you know what I mean? So to import more is just fucking ridiculous, because it just causes all these problems. I think, like, if people are fucking coming to this country, they should have some sense of that, you know, and some sense, well, what are you coming here for? You know what I mean?
People are coming here for a better life, ultimately.
Yeah, of course they are.
They're trying to get away from them.
Yeah,
I don't blame them for that.
Of course they are.
Because do you know what? There's a point I'd really like to make. A lot of it's down to our foreign policy and America's foreign policy, where we're fucking these people's countries up. And of course they're coming here because they're just not even about a better life. They just want to be safe.
Yeah,
they want to wake up in the morning and not have a fucking missile slam through their child's bedroom.
And also, as well as we choose to speak the way that we want to speak, often criticisms are often like, well, why the fuck don't you learn English? Why don't you speak all this? And the day is, you might well know English, but you don't know that by walking down the street to someone's linguistic skills of English. You know what they hear in them speak, and ultimately you would speak in the accent or the way that you want to speak with those that you're present with. So if you're with your pals, you're going to speak more Geordie. If with your family, you're going to speak more English, so they can understand what you got to say. So if you walk down the street, you don't know whether or not this Asian guy walking past you is really fluent in English or not, or whether or not whether or not he knows, like, a multitude of languages.
Yeah, but it's like all that stuff sort of irrelevant, really. It's just like, I think it is basically just about, like, if you want to come here, fine, but there should be some sort of process whereby, are you actually wanting to come here to integrate with the people who live here already, or you want to come here and just
I think there's two things.
Your own
One,
fucking
we need to
thing,
get our fucking foreign policy sorted and stop fucking raping people's countries. So we're not creating a fucking situation where people are fleeing here. We're creating a situation where people come here because they're genuinely just...
Or economically crushing them.
Exactly, economically crushing them. Like a fine point you've made there, where they're fleeing here for those two fucking reasons, warfare and economics, or sometimes intertwined between the two. When that happens, then we can start looking at that. Until that happens, we might as well not even fucking bother.
But you've got to sort your own house out first.
We've got to sort our house. Like, it's not we. I'm a fucking, like, I'm from the cosmos, yo.
Yeah.
But,
I'm an nationalist. I don't care about,
it's that nationalism bullshit. It's about, like, we have to, like, by we, I mean the British government, the American government, and all those cunts who are in cahoots have to stop going and fucking being the military arm of the fucking corporateocracy.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
When that happens, then we can start addressing these issues. But until that, it's a double standard.
Yeah. And these divisions will continue to exist until those things are addressed. Those divisions could exist because divide and rule that comes from basically bombing the shit out of people, fucking each other up through neoliberal policies. People move around the planet. And to be fair, people probably should stay in their own country, but they don't necessarily have that choice. They want a better life, and
Africa's the most mineral-rich continent on the planet.
Don't get us wrong. I'm not one of these people who, like, begrudges people wanting a better life, and I think that, like, obviously people come here because they've come from sort of bad experiences in their own country to do with war and what have you, and that's like, yeah, if you were in that position, you would do the same thing. Of course you would.
Just looking for a better life.
Totally, yeah. But I think, like, what you're saying, I totally agree that with the foreign policy thing, I do. But it's
I know you do. I think I need to make that clear as well. But I think you should be allowed, and we should be allowed to talk openly and honestly,
exactly,
from
because
a position of the heart and love and peace and justice.
It seems to be like everybody has a point of view,
because people will judge this and go, everybody seems
to be polarised from one side to the other. You're either EDL, you're a fucking terrorist, you're fucking this, or you're that.
I know these people, and I love these men here, and all of us sit outside of that fucking bullshit because it is a load of shit. We just want people to live in peace. That's effectively, like, I might be wrong, but for me, that's part of doing this fucking podcast. It's to talk openly, honestly, and open the debate in a fucking sense where we can talk to all as human beings.
Yeah. A fact of issue as well is in terms of integration, this government at the current person has slashed ESOL budgets. It's got rid of all of the funding and all of the support to immigrants coming here who want to learn English, who want to speak and who want to contribute as well. So as well as, like, I agree with some of the points that you make, and make you say I think also some of the support mechanisms that we do have in place are being taken away. A government that wants nothing else other than austerity. Anyway, I want to move on. Let's get some tunes on the go, lighten the mood. Okay, what we've got here is...
That was the lightest conversation we've had so far, you liar.
I've got Mickey C's choice here. Come on.
All right, this song's called...
Screwdriver, Kill All the Immigrants.
Hit it, Dan!
God knows what is hiding in that weak and drunken heart. I guess he kissed the girls and made them cry, those hard-faced queens of misadventure. God knows what is hiding in those weak and sunken eyes, a fiery throng of muted angels giving love and getting nothing back. Oh, help the people, and if you're homesick, give me a hand and I'll hold it. People, help the people, nothing gonna drag you down. Oh, and if I had a brain, oh, and if I had a brain, I'd be cold as a stone and rich as the fool that turned all those good hearts away. God knows what is hiding in that world of little consequence, behind the tears, inside the lies, the thousand slowly dying sunsets. God knows what is hiding in those weak and drunken hearts. I guess that loneliness came knocking. No one needs to be alone. Oh, singing people, help the people, and if you're homesick, give me a hand and I'll hold it. People, help the people, nothing gonna drag you down. Oh, and if I had a brain, oh, and if I had a brain, I'd be cold as a stone and rich as the fool that turned all those good hearts away.
Welcome back. That was Cherry Ghost by... No, it wasn't. No, it was. It was, it was Cherry Ghost. And the song's called Help the People. People help the people. Sorry, Dan.
Quite prescient.
Anyway,
I love
about.
that song. It's like I just love. It's like very poetic. I think
it's a lovely tune.
Lovely song. I don't know much of his other stuff, to be honest, but I don't
know
like that
much, but I know I love you.
That may be all I need to know.
People, it's time for special requests.
Special request.
This is the part of the show, the democratic part of the show, where we actually listen
Democracy.
to what democracy in action.
We hate it.
We are the totalitarian regime. We don't give a fuck about what you think. We talk anyway. No, this is the chance where we listen to you, interact with you on the mic.
I feel a lot more relaxed now, actually.
Now that you've left off a bit of steam about your love of the EDL. I'll never let you hold that one down, you racist cunt.
I just can't.
Look at Don getting that in for his communist friends.
Yeah,
he's like, oh, please still like me, people that I go and wave banners with in Newcastle. I like North Korea personally.
Good tourists off our streets.
Look at the fucking face on it.
Right, if you want to be EDL
Now we brought it back from that conversation.
Anyway, let's move on. This is a special request. This is what you've been talking. This is what you want us to talk about. And what is getting us all, well, what's getting you all interested on there is the Ice Bucket Challenge. For those who don't know, this is a phenomenon that's sort of kind of taken off over the last few weeks.
Something like
which is from people basically doing the idea to kind of chuck ice, cold water, ice water over their head to try and make and raise money for which charity? ALS?
Yeah. It's like motor neuron, but it's the American version of it.
Okay, which is a disease that kind of like basically at first attacks your kind of cognitive responses, and then eventually kind of like basically attacks everything about your whole system and operating, and people die very slowly. And but at the same time, it can be something that like turns someone in quite early on in their life if they become ill by it. And nobody really knew much about this particular disease. And through this, the people who are responsible for running the campaign, the ALS, are being wanting to try and kind of raise awareness about this particular disease, and they've done very, very successful. They've tapped into a raw nerve, and they've managed to make something this kind of be spread like wildfire over the internet. However, it has kind of polarized opinion, and there's lots of people who've been either against it because they just say is it something that kind of celebrities are getting on the back of, and they just want to make themselves big up. And there's also been a question raised about people not actually raising any money for the charity whatsoever. And then there's also concerns about, a lot of the other issues that are going on in the world at this moment in time: war, famine, Africa, and like people kind of, a lot of these issues are kind of being taken off the agenda, and people feel like they kind of, this is a big distraction for all of it. Anyway, I'd like to kind of open up this as a just debate, because I do think it is kind of one that like I think all of us have kind of thought of from different ways. Also, I'd like to say as well as I've actually been nominated. This works in a kind of neck nominate kind of way, where your friends do it and that they then chuck water over their hand and then decide that they're going to nominate. And I got nominated twice in one day, basically. So I'm kind of also wanting to kind of hear from you about what you think. If I'm gonna do it, like what kind of slant I should do on it, because I do would like it.
Bucket of acid or piss or both. And can I provide the piss?
Can I provide the acid
from your eyes?
Depends what kind of acid,
Ooh, druggy, what a junkie.
Formaldehyde. Is that acid?
My favourite.
Cut a cow in half.
No.
Well, I got nominated as well, and I'm going to nominate Mike Cowley because I know he's been slating it on Facebook. So
nominated. I'm just see what happens.
It's already
just
happened.
See what fucking happens.
It's happened in my own mind. I envisage you doing it naked but with a cow mask on. That's how I'd like to see you.
Well, I'll tell you how I'll envisage it. Not doing it.
Well, the thing is that what I was going to do it, and I was going to do it for the Gaza medical aid to Gaza thing, because I can basically do what I want. You know what I mean? So that's so I thought you might do it under the same guise, naked with a cow mask on.
No, I won't be doing it whatsoever.
Why? Because you're a little botter.
No, because I'm fucking a pure fucking Roger Cloud. But no, the reason I'm not doing it is I just don't like showy acts, like in general. Sorry. You know what I mean? I don't like showy acts, and I don't like mimetics.
It's just a bit of fun, though, isn't it?
No, well, is it a bit of fun?
It's a bit of fun.
Is it a bit of fun?
So
Do you want us to talk
arguments against though. So like, come on, Mike, if you want to
I'm
give
not necessarily totally against it.
Oh, no, but like,
I'm going to adopt in the main a lot of that kind of shit for the simple reason. Like I went from like being dead against it just due to people being showy cunts. Like the one that tipped us over was that fucking Scotty T bellend off fucking Geordie Shaw who jumped in the tyne. No, I'm not going to say what no, I'm not going to wish he was dead. But
but you do. But in your own mind, that's what you wish.
Put that thought in my head, you couldn't. I know. The thing is, I can't get away with it. Like it's a normal banter because I forget sometimes. We're going to like fucking run the tape back, and I'm going to look like, all right, cunt. Sorry, Scotty.
Anyway, arguments against.
Don't die.
Don't die, Scotty T. But from my perspective, it's I just didn't like the whole sort of showiness of it. For me, it's like, right, if you want to like donate to charity, just fucking donate to charity. Just like, why do you fucking feel like you need to like be all up in the fucking video, like on
all
social
up in the
media,
video.
like Puffy dancing, all in the video?
I mean, the argument that's coming through though is that this particular charity, like I think it was something they'd raised about 4 million the previous year, and now they're like talking about hundreds of millions that they've raised.
What does that actually mean when you break down their accounts?
That's because they feel like that issue is being kind of brought into the forefront. It's something that people weren't thinking about. It's a disease that only affects like I think there's something like 4 or 5 people out of every 1,000 or
every
something.
100,000.
So it's not like kind of mad on like on people's agendas, and this by doing this they've kind of raised the issue. But you were saying, but what does that mean? What did you mean by it?
If you go online, look at their accounts. I'm going to paraphrase quite a lot because I've just come out the back of 3-day bender and I don't really give a fuck that much. You know what I mean? But 7.8% of what has been donated will go to actual research. Like, and this is ALS in America. I can't speak for motor neuron in this country. I hope it's better. The chief executive is on something like $488,000, which is a fucking extortionate amount. I've seen people counter that online because they've come from this whole fucking place of stop being such a fucking cunt about like fucking people trying to do good things and that. You're getting a bit fucking like this is a general point. It's this whole fucking like thing that humans adopt where it's like I'm on team Newcastle United or I'm on team ALS, so like you can't fucking question like from a position of being on that team, and you won't, so you'll say absolutely fucking anything to fucking like defend it. And for me, you know, for those who have seen me absolute volte-face, like from being all like bang against it to going, actually I've had a rethink, and then I had another fucking rethink after more information came in. But for me, that's like part of being a rational thinking human being. Employ the left brain, try and get the emotion out of it as much as I can. I'm an emotional lad, you can probably tell. But I do try and employ my left brain. I had a look at it, and I was like, you know, at first I was like, just fuck off with this pouring shit on your head. You didn't really mean it. A lot of you haven't even fucking donated. Later on you did, just like the no makeup selfies, don't lie. And then I'd look at it and went, no, that's a good thing. It has raised awareness. There's that fucking buzzword again. And then I had a look at it again when I actually had a look at their accounts and did my own research and found out about it alongside some of the other good people on the page. Realised that actually donating to the American charity in particular was generally not the best. I mean, it probably will help to a certain degree. And I'm still I'm not like one way or the other. I'm just a little bit sort of it. For me, it's a general point about people being showy cunts. It's just like, why do you really... No, wait, hold on, wait. Why do you really feel that you can't donate to charity without... You've been nominated. Why didn't you like vote? Like, why didn't you give to charity before that? So you've been nominated, you give a $5 and you wasted water over your head. Enough. Fucking nice one.
Yeah, no, but like this is the point, and it sort of goes back to what I was saying before. It's like there's like a middle ground here, you know, because you've got like people who, you know, the movie's not like, to be fair to them, they're not really clued up on what goes on. And like they think they're doing a good thing, so they're doing it in terms of doing a good thing. And then you've got like you on the other end of it, who's like, fucking,
no, I'm not though. I can see both sides. I've rationally analysed both sides.
Yeah, I know, but when you put stuff out on Facebook that is totally like that, like turns people off in terms of like anything that you would say about.
That's what I'm feeling at that particular moment, though.
Yeah, I know you're
based on the information at hand.
Yeah,
at that
I know,
particular
and I agree,
moment, because that's implying a rational thought process.
But I agree with the fact that like if I do it, which I'm supposed to be going to do it tomorrow, I'm not going to fucking just give it to any
your own mind, like.
Well, are you going to listen to what I'm saying?
Let him finish.
What I'm saying is, if I do it and I'm going to do it, I'll give it to the charity of my choosing. the one that I think's going
Good
to
on ya.
do the most benefit.
Good for you.
In terms of
I see a lot
that
of people
they
do that.
actually get the fucking money, and it doesn't just, because I know about charities, and it's what you're saying, and I do agree with you that charities, they tend to just be a fucking business. You know what I mean? I know people who've worked for charities, and it's all about the profit. It's not about what they're actually supposed to be doing. It's about fucking
Charity
making
corporations.
fucking moolah for
I agree.
themselves.
I mean, we work
and
in the charity sector,
for that
so, you know,
exact fucking.
we know this shit.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I'm saying, and I know that you. I know that you know that. But also, what I'm saying is, from a point of view of other people who don't really know that, when you just come on and say, "Oh, it's a bunch of bullshit," fucking blah blah blah, that's like. To
Just
them,
on
it's
that
like,
though.
oh, you're
No,
just.
Just on that, there is like a sort of thing about like sort of rationally analysing it. But however, what people, well, what I'm just going to fucking say is a lot of the way I write that type of shit, it's designed to provoke a debate. And it's not necessarily like so. I do use a certain extreme
A
language.
lot of people don't like a debate, though, do they?
Well, I don't give a fuck.
People are cushy.
Well, what
like
are they
that,
fucking on that page
Yeah,
for?
no.
Go like, just a general point. If you don't fucking like that shit, why are you still there? Are you masochists or something? Fuck off, unfriend us. I don't care. It's not like you know, come and speak to us like in public and we'll fucking talk about it. You know what I mean? I'm virtually the same. In like the real world as I am fucking at any
Well,
other
now
time.
you've got a bit more of a twinkle in your eye in the real world.
No. Well, none of us know that's actually a load of people. There's a few people, like a load actually, who've messaged us and went, actually, I get these things now because, like, you know, you're speaking on the podcast. I've listened to it and I realise you're not a cunt.
As a faceless person, you come across as an angry
I totally
motherfucking
acknowledge that, and I get that, and I've said that as well. It's like I get that,
but the point-
I'm
that's the
still
point
who
I'm
I am, and
making.
you know that.
Come on, let me see finish anyway. What was your point being is anyway, is the general people out in the street, right? People who are going on there. I've got mates of mine who aren't necessarily friends with Mike Cow on Facebook who've done it. They've gone on. They've decided that they've nominated me, and they like, you know, for them they like that kind of thing. So, but I mean, I think that's kind of what you were touching upon, Mickey. Do you want to just elaborate a little bit more on that? Like, yeah,
in terms of
just like, you know, people, as you say, who might not necessarily be as informed, you know.
Yeah, I mean, people. I think generally people are good. You know, people are generally good. You know, and they're trying to do something good, and I know it's a bit of fun as well. And it's sort of like you've got to have a bit of both, haven't you? You can't to sort of engage people nowadays. I think you've got to have a bit.
But why?
Because it's just the way it is.
But why does it have to be that way?
Because I don't know.
That's kind of why I want to have
that's
this
how it is,
conversation.
isn't it? That's how it is, though, isn't it?
But it doesn't have to be that way. Why do people have to be like fucking shit cunts who need to do it when it's
Why
it's about
are you calling
them?
them shit cunts?
Well, because to me it is. It's like, why make it about you? Do you know what I mean? Why make it about you? It's about, like, people suffering. Do you know, that's what it's about. So why not just give them some fucking cash to to an organisation you've researched and found out, when that's actually quite close to me fucking heart. So, like, I appreciate the pain they're going through. So here's some fucking money. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's,
however, like, you could level the fact that I'm going off to do this fucking trek as me being a complete hypocrite. Feel free to challenge us on that, please.
Well, no, I don't think you are. I think you're doing it, and I think everybody. There is people out.
I just think, yeah, I think it's really valid, and I think there's some important points being made here. But I think that you look at the world that we live in, and ultimately things happen and people respond. People are reactionary beings. People will see things and suddenly they'll start caring about things that they didn't care about before. And also, people are by and large unpoliticized. People aren't necessarily looking into the politics of things or why they happen or what they happen, but they're looking into things that, like, stimulate them and make them excited. And the idea of, like, doing something which is a bit daft, like chucking loads of water over your head, is kind of a fun gesture. It's a fun act, and that's why people are buzzing off doing this sort of thing. And it's something that they think is zany. Now, that might not be crazy in the bigger scheme of things, but that's how people are viewing it. And some people are kind of trying to outdo each other. So you'll see videos which are more elaborate, and also you see people who, like, I would fucking think, my God, they haven't done it. You know what I mean? There's a fucking video going around with George Bush. George Bush was out on fucking on his show.
Oh, so that didn't remind us of when he fucking waterboarded loads of people in Guantanamo Bay.
Of course.
Can we not just pin him down and waterboard the cunt? Do you know what I mean? With ice in his fucking arse.
I think we should waterboard him. Yeah, that's true. But I'm just saying,
how dare you?
It's something that's been kind of taken on by a variety of people, from some of my mates in Howden right through to fucking George Bush, who is the fucking, you know, arch fucking
One
lizard.
thing I do want to make clear before we move on from this is when I was calling people shit cunts, the people I'm calling shit cunts are the ones who are obviously making it about them. Where it's like fucking, I've seen people doing it and they haven't even fucking known it's to anything other than some fucking daft shit you do on the internet, you know what I mean? The people who are like obviously doing it to like further their fucking personal fucking brand, where all these fucking dicks on Facebook have got like, oh, check me out on fucking Facebook. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how, like, please fucking like understand the fact that I do like think giving to charity is an amazing thing, and I respect anybody who does it, even the people who are doing this kind of caper. But it's about the motivations behind the act. It's not necessarily about the act in and of itself. Wait, now, it's like for me, what the gold and the love and the respect and the humanity is the motivation behind the act. It doesn't matter if you give 50 pence, 50 pounds, 50 grand, whatever the fuck it is. It's just about what you meant by doing it. So if you've done that and you've charged that act with love, then I respect that. But I've seen people and groups and all of that who it's clearly not about that, and you are the shit cunt, in my belief, and I don't have the answers to all things. So that's all I wanted to fucking say on it, and that's my word on it. End of.
Okay, I agree with you, and I think it's important is that people are actually doing it to raise awareness of an issue, and if they're just doing it for the sake of doing it and they're not donating anything, that's really sad.
That's what I'm on about.
I think that Mickey's point that of like doing it for a charity that's of importance to him is really good. I don't know if you've managed to see the footage, but there was a guy who's gone on who's in Gaza at this moment in time, and he said, well, there's no clean and running water at this moment in time. They've decided to like basically do this kind of test, but it's to raise awareness for not asking for any money, but just to raise awareness about solidarity for Gaza, and that if any power that you have, you go out there and you challenge it and you go out and speak and you spread the word about the kind of atrocities and the massacre and the genocide that's going on in Palestine, that will only come to an end if people power comes together. And he did that by basically getting his family to put sand, which is the only thing that's lying around in their village, over the top of the head.
I feel
for that. If I'm going to do one and I'm going to nominate myself, that although I think it's really important, this issue that ELS is trying to kind of to bring up, irrespective of irrespective of their politics, the issue, the disease that they're trying to raise awareness of, although I think it's still vitally important, I think also it's important to raise this and use this kind of this phenomenon to raise awareness about other important things that are going on in this world and time. And that's also why I kind of respect Mickey C's idea of basically kind of using it to donate the charity one. The person who nominated me, I noticed was kind of fundraising for another charity himself. I don't know what the charity was for, but I think as long as there is actually money coming from it, and it's or support or action, or people are actually doing something concrete, and it's not just about a kind of sort of like
over the head for Gaza. I'm fucking down with that.
Then it's definitely do it. So I would like that. I was quite tempted by the idea of like possibly throwing like blood over the top of my napper, as suggested by Mike Cow.
Can I provide that? It's riddled with AIDS.
Right, okay. Mickey, do you want to add anything else to this before we move on to the next segment?
No, not really.
No. Okay, so
is that it done now? Like,
what?
Vitriol, hate, angst and pain. Is that us done with fucking Ice Bucket Challenge?
What more is that to say?
Well, I mean, I just think like fucking, you know, it's like please get out there and fucking do things with love. You know what I mean? That's what I wanted to get across with it. Just do things with love and honour and respect and a duty for your fucking fellow man. There's millions more people than us who are going to live relatively closeted fucking lives who are in total pain, suffering and fucking anxiety and angst and shit. And please just fucking help them, you know what I mean?
For me,
we're in a privileged position where we're fucking can do it.
For me,
so get out of our fucking like the confines of this fucking reality and look beyond our fucking existence.
For me, all I would say is if you are going to donate to a charity, just research the charity a bit.
Exactly.
Don't just donate to the same charity that every other fucker's donating to. Donate
Think for
to
yourself.
it. You know, you might have
Don't
something.
Just follow the herd.
You might have something that's like passionate to you or whatever, but at least research certain charities and see how much of that money actually does go to the cause that you're passionate about. That's the only thing I would really
make it clear on the website on your video as to how people can donate to that cause. And also remember, I hate to be the communist, but in the day Karl Marx did say that charity is the opium of the masses, and people will go behind certain charities thinking that by just doing that they're going to change things. It's not just that, it's about being active, it's about being aware, way about it. In this case of the Palestine, they weren't asking for money, they were just asking for solidarity. People go out and campaign amongst the powers that be, the movers and the shakers, and say, let's call an end to what's going on over there. So there's more than just money that you can do.